Others began to wonder what kind of natural force could beat with such precision.
Was etched in hieroglyphs, paired with phrases invoking rebirth and eternal guardianship.
At exactly 2:17 p.m. on November 18, 2025, the archaeologists decided to lift the lid of the black sarcophagus at Taposiris Magna. From that very second, a bunch of strange things started happening right in front of their eyes. Stuff so wild, nobody could believe it was real. This wasn't just old legends anymore. It was all coming alive right there. The steady heartbeat of 42 seconds suddenly sped up, pounding like some ancient being had just woken up. The first sigh from Osiris in 2,000 years echoed through the chamber, announcing the awakening of the Antichrist, the very thing the Bible warned us about. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and the beast had a wound that looked fatal, but the wound was healed. And the whole world was amazed and followed the beast. Revelation 13:3. Those words seemed to bounce off the ancient walls, and everyone realized, this isn't history anymore. This is happening right now. The copper tube between the two mummies started shaking hard, the rhythm getting faster every second. The temperature shot way up, the air turned hot like an oven, and poisonous gas rose like the breath of hell itself. Everyone stumbled back in total terror. This wasn't archaeology. This was the unsealing of the Antichrist that Satan had been setting up since the days of Cleopatra. Every detail, every vibration, every breath, it all pointed to a new era beginning. Watch this video all the way to the end, because this is one of those warning signs you really can't ignore. And who knows, you might pick up the knowledge you'll need to get ready for the day the Antichrist finally shows himself to the world. Now, you and I are going to follow right along with the archaeologists to see exactly how they uncovered this mysterious tomb, what weird signs warned them the Antichrist was waking up, and why everything started shaking the moment they took their first steps under the sand. All the way back in '72, Soviet archaeologists stumbled onto something unbelievable. At Ab al-Nafas, the place of breath, a heartbeat thumped loudly under the ground, shaking the whole desert like some ancient creature was coming back to life. Their instruments went crazy, flashing warnings nobody had ever seen before. Everybody there knew this wasn't regular digging anymore. In the 2000s, NASA and ESA satellites spotted a giant Ankh shape under the sand, with heat pulsing like bright red veins. The experts called it unexplained, but folks who know their Bible prophecies felt a chill. The heartbeat, the coming back to life, the strange power. Just like Revelation 13:3 says, one of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. In 2025, that 42-second rhythm came back stronger than ever. Dr. Kathleen Martinez and her team got emergency permission to dig. They walked into Taposiris Magna with a quiet fear in their guts. They knew they weren't just looking for history anymore. They were about to wake up to an ancient power the Bible calls the Antichrist. The dig was full of surprises. Sand moved on its own, like invisible hands were shaping the tunnels. Drones picked up glowing red heat below. Local villagers ran away, terrified, whispering, "The Queen is coming back." It all reminded Martinez they weren't opening a grave. They were opening an ancient rebirth chamber where the Antichrist's power had been sealed for 2,000 years. On November 18th, 2025, the team walked more than a kilometer through a tunnel with no chisel marks at all. They stepped into a sealed room with a lapis lazuli starry ceiling that glowed blue like the night sky long ago. The last wall came down, and there it was, a pitch-black sarcophagus, ice cold, swallowing every bit of light. Nobody could speak. Hearts were pounding, like they could feel an ancient soul waking up. The moment the lid lifted, scorching hot air blasted out like from an oven. A copper tube between the two mummies shook hard, 42 seconds, then 38, then 35, like an artificial heart speeding up. Martinez cried out, We just woke up something we never should have touched. And right then, the prophecy came alive. The Antichrist wasn't in the future anymore. He was standing right in front of them. Every single thing screamed, "He's waking up." Sand collapsed. The lapis lazuli flashed like lightning in the dark. Hot air poured out, smelling like the breath of hell itself. That 42-second beat, the same number in Revelation 13-5, the 42 months the Antichrist will rule, and the beast was given a mouth, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. The whole team felt like they were standing in front of a power older and bigger than anything they understood. From the Soviets in '72, to NASA in the 2000s, to Martinez in 2025, every sign has pointed to Taposiris Magna. This isn't just an old tomb. It's the rebirth chamber of the Antichrist, prepared since the days of Cleopatra. Space, time, and that heartbeat under the sand are all saying the same thing. The prophecy is turning real, and everything is about to change forever. Pretty scary, huh? But when I put all these strange events together, I can't help asking, why did the Soviets get stopped every time they tried to dig deeper? Why didn't NASA do anything when their satellites saw stuff like this? And why, only now, right on time, did this team find the tomb without even breaking a sweat? Don't you think it feels like somebody planned the whole thing from the start? And to get the answers to all those questions, come walk with me now as we go deeper into every hidden message, every mystery that God Himself seems to be planting there, like He's desperately trying to warn mankind about something absolutely terrifying that's about to happen. You ready? The moment you step into Taposiris Magna, nobody can deny it. This is no ordinary ancient tomb. This is the great temple tomb of Osiris, the god of death and resurrection, and the old power still lingers in every stone. Every carving, every symbol, every crack in the wall is screaming a message nobody has fully understood yet, but the prophecy still echoes through the air. Revelation 17-8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Well, the writing on the walls, in both Greek and Egyptian, isn't just words. It's proof of an ancient alliance between East and West, showing that earthly powers have been quietly joined forces for centuries, getting ready for the return of the Antichrist. The word ankre, meaning life reborn, is carved over and over, just like Revelation 13-3 says. I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. That 42-second pulse coming from under the coffin is an artificial heartbeat starting up. The power is waking. The lapis lazuli ceiling glows with cold blue light, showing Isis bringing Osiris back to life by starlight. The same scene as the woman riding the scarlet beast in Revelation 17. The warning carved on the wall made everyone's blood run cold. Break this union and the balance will shatter, and blood will drip from the left eye. It's exactly the deadly wound of the beast that heals, just as Revelation 13-3 foretold. Between the two mummies lies a golden scarab with the words, "Bind the soul to its body." The purpose is clear: to lock an ancient spirit back into flesh, meaning the Antichrist will soon possess the body of Osiris or Mark Antony and complete the resurrection. That 42-second throb in the bronze pipe under the coffin is the artificial heart beating faster and faster. The power is waking up, one beat at a time. Pretty terrifying, isn't it? But the horror doesn't stop there. There's a circle of 36 gold-covered skulls, 12 men, 12 women, 12 children, no lower jaws, still holding dried blood, placed all around the tomb. This is the final sacrifice, feeding whatever is buried below. When the archaeologists saw it, they immediately recognized the same ritual used in ancient Baal worship, and even in modern Bohemian Grove ceremonies. The same satanic tradition handed down through the ages to keep evil power alive. 2 melted copper cups still hold dried blood, still active like an ancient blood covenant. If that covenant is ever broken, everything underground will explode into chaos. But until then, the power just waits quietly, ready to step into the world. Every detail, the The scarab, the circle of skulls, the lapis light, is part of one huge ancient ritual, all connected like threads in a spider web leading straight to the Antichrist. The lapis light shines directly onto the symbols, and then down onto every letter, every carving. The heartbeat under the coffin starts matching the heartbeats of the people standing there, until it feels like you're standing at the gate of an ancient prison, watching something unspeakable wake up. Every pulse, every ray of light, every symbol is shouting that the Antichrist is about to appear, exactly as Revelation 13:5 says. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Every step inside that tomb made the team shiver. The lapis ceiling, the golden scarab, the ring of skulls, the cups of dried blood, everything together forms one perfect ritual, where the Antichrist is preparing to take a body. The heartbeat, the light, every tiny detail is leading to the moment of destiny. There's no doubt anymore. This is the door opening for the return of the Antichrist, and anyone who sees it becomes a living witness to Bible prophecy coming true right in front of our eyes. I believe it's the truth. How about you? Do you think this is the sign of the Antichrist's return? Or is it pointing to something even bigger and more holy? When every symbol and every pulse from deep inside that tomb finally comes to light, it's hard not to stop and ask yourself, what on earth is all this really trying to tell us? Every bit of blue lapis, every golden scarab, every ring of skulls, it's not just old stuff sitting there. It's a loud, living warning that the coming of the Antichrist isn't some fairy tale anymore. It's happening right in front of us, and nobody gets to look away without being pulled in. The big question is, do we have enough sense and enough faith in the Lord to let Him guide us through it? So come with me. Let's peel back every layer and see clearly the messages God has tucked into this frightening thing. You've probably already figured out this isn't just some regular Cleopatra tomb anymore. Taposiris Magna isn't simply the resting place of an Egyptian queen. It's a rebirth chamber, built way back around 30 BC to wait for the day the Antichrist steps into a body. Every single detail, from the lapis lazuli ceiling to the golden scarabs, was planned out carefully, getting ready for this moment thousands of years later. Cleopatra called herself the new Isis. Mark Antony was the new Osiris. And now those two ancient figures are a living sign of the Antichrist and the Scarlet Woman, just like Revelation 17, verses 3-6 warns, the woman riding the red beast, full of blasphemous names, making the whole world drunk on her. It's not legend anymore. Those figures are showing up again in the rituals and symbols around the coffin, telling us the old plan is ready to walk into our world today. That 42-second beat coming from the copper tube between the two mummies isn't random. It's the exact 42 months the Antichrist will reign, just like Revelation 13:5 says, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. When the coffin lid opens, the beat speeds up, 42, then 38, then 35 seconds. Plain as day, he's waking up, step by step getting ready to take the power Satan planned for him long ago. The ring of 36 golden skulls, with no lower jaws and dried blood inside, marks a terrible countdown. 36 months of the Great Tribulation, 1,260 days on the Bible calendar. Look at them, and you can't help but think of the prophecy. Chaos is about to start. Days of trouble, like nothing we've ever seen are coming. Every detail is set up like some creepy time machine that makes anybody watching shiver. The message in all these signs is crystal clear. Satan prepared the perfect body thousands of years ago and has been waiting for the exact right moment for the Antichrist to move in. Opening this tomb today isn't just archaeology. It's breaking the final seal. Just like 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 6-8 warned, the one holding him back is taken out of the way, and the lawless one will be revealed. Everything, the ceiling, the skulls, the artificial heartbeat, the blood rituals, is living proof this end times event is here. The golden scarab, the lapis ceiling carved with Isis bringing Osiris back to life, Everything points to the perfect mix of ancient magic and supernatural will to bring this evil being into our world. There's no doubt left. Every detail is set up to announce the awakening of the Antichrist. All the pieces fit together like a nightmare puzzle. The speeding heartbeat is the countdown. The skull ring is the tribulation schedule. The lapis ceiling is the sign of power. And the golden scarab is the way he enters the body. Look at it all, and it's hard to deny this isn't archaeology anymore. It's a living prophecy map warning us about the chaos, pain, and testing that's coming. Every single thing at Taposiris Magna screams that mankind, whether we meant to or not, has taken part in an end times event. No question about it. The Antichrist is stepping into the world through preparations Satan made thousands of years ago. Every sign points to one thing: the Antichrist has woken up, and humanity is about to walk into the Great Tribulation the Bible has been warning us about all along. But to really understand the full mystery of Taposiris Magna, we have to go way back to when this tomb was first built, back when all those ancient rituals were hiding secrets nobody ever talked about. This tomb isn't just some ordinary grave. It's the heart of an old ritual, built to keep a soul safe and get it ready for the rebirth of a supernatural being that people later would call the Antichrist. In 30 BC, Cleopatra ordered Taposiris Magna to be built. It wasn't only a tomb, it was an ancient sleeping chamber for a secret mystical ceremony no one ever made public. The place was designed to protect the soul, mixing Egyptian and Greek traditions, creating a space where gods and humans met, and where the deepest secrets stayed hidden for thousands of years. Cleopatra didn't really kill herself the way most history books say. She took part in a ritual called the Bride Returning to Osiris, where her soul was guided into a kind of deep sleep, waiting to be reborn one day. Mark Antony went through it with her, not just as her lover or political partner, but as the living image of Osiris in the ceremony, playing the main role in a mystical plan that only members of the cult truly understood. For centuries, the tomb stayed the center of strange stories. From Roman times all the way to the Ottoman period, anyone who tried to break in met a mysterious death. Rumors spread everywhere about invisible forces guarding the tomb. Even old writers like Plutarch, Suetonius, and Dio Cassius, when they talked about Cleopatra, always left out the important parts about the ritual and the mystery of Taposiris Magna. For decades after that, the tomb stayed a puzzle. In 1972, a Soviet archaeological team noticed weird things happening at Abul Nafis, but every attempt to get close was blocked in strange ways. People who got near it or tried to dig met things they couldn't explain, and folks started believing some supernatural power was always watching over the place. Then, in 2025, when Dr. Kathleen Martinez and her team finally got permission to go in, all those old obstacles just seemed to vanish. Ancient tunnels were opened, leading to sealed rooms whose walls and layout hadn't changed in almost 2,000 years. It showed the ritual plan had been ready long ago and was never finished. This isn't just a regular archaeological find anymore. It's a door cracking open to secrets from an ancient time that got buried, giving us a chance to learn about mystical practices earlier generations never talked about. Through the centuries, Taposiris Magna has been feared, respected, and hidden on purpose. The tomb is living proof of how political power, religion, and ancient rituals all mix together. Every stone, every wall holding stories no one has told yet, daring anyone brave enough to look. Today, when we walk into that space, it's not just legend anymore. History shows the tomb wasn't only a resting place. It was the center of a carefully planned ritual that lasted through the ages, protected by layers even time couldn't break. Every piece of architecture, every stone on the floor, every sealed room is a chilling reminder of what happened and what's still to come, making anyone who stands there hold their breath in front of an ancient secret. The Romans, the Ottomans, the archaeologists who got stopped before, they all proved Taposiris Magna never wanted to be discovered. But now, as the time for those old secrets is almost up, we finally get to see the real purpose of the ritual and why the tomb was built. To understand why Cleopatra and Mark Antony chose these mystical rites, and why even our modern world can still feel that strange power. This tomb isn't just a piece of history. It's a doorway into a hidden world where ancient power, deadly rituals, and the unfinished plans of supernatural beings were cleverly concealed. And right here, every mystery we ever heard about Cleopatra, Mark Antony, and the old Egyptian rites comes alive, creepy and fascinating at the same time, making it impossible to look away. You just have to go deeper to find the truth behind Taposiris Magna. And this is the very place believed to be the gate of hell that will open, marking the appearance of the most powerful demon of all, the Antichrist himself. After we've looked into the ancient mysteries and secret rituals around Taposiris Magna, let's now turn to the world we're living in today. A world full of wars, leaders coming and going like the wind, and political chaos that seems to be setting the stage for exactly what the old prophets warned us about. The world is standing right on the edge of changes nobody's ever seen before. Leaders of countries keep turning over, and every political move leaves everybody holding their breath. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, and all these long-running fights are pushing the planet closer to total chaos. And that chaos is opening the door for one power to rise above everything else. This fight for control, the surprise decisions, the wars getting worse. It's not just politics as usual. These are clear signs that a big moment is getting close. Like it says in Daniel 7:25, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws." The mess we see right now feels like it's clearing the way for the Antichrist to step in, pulling all that power together out of the broken pieces. Every day that goes by, nations are grabbing for land, oil, and influence. Leaders keep changing, and that non-stop turnover creates just the kind of disorder any clever person could use. The world looks like one giant chessboard, and every wrong move could start a chain reaction that ends with one supreme power taking over. We're not just facing a few wars or some short-term political trouble. This is the time when trust is falling apart, violence is everywhere, and corruption is through the roof. The perfect setup for a final ruler. Look at what's happening today, from Russia-Ukraine to the Middle East. Every one of these fights is helping set the stage for the Antichrist to show up. And as world leaders come and go, every choice they make, every step they take, could be another piece of an ancient plan the prophets told us about long ago. We're right on the doorstep of the moment when that ultimate power could appear any day, and we who are watching it all happen can't just look the other way. So now, it's not just a bunch of random coincidences anymore. This whole thing has been planned and prepared for thousands of years. At the same time, what's happening right now is a warning that God wants to send to all of us. A message He told us about a long, long time ago. We're living in a time when darkness isn't just a figure of speech, it's real, and it's creeping closer with every step humanity takes. All these political upheavals, the wars that never seem to stop, and the powers rising up quietly in the shadows, they're warnings God wants us to see. We can't ignore the signs. We can't look the other way. Every choice we make, everything we do, helps shape what's coming. Stay awake. Keep your mind clear. Because the Antichrist isn't just some old story. He's a real danger taking shape in this messed up world. Trust in the Lord. He's the light that guides us through the dark. He told us to stand firm, to keep our hearts pure and stay faithful, and not let any power tempt us or pull us off the path He laid out for us. Live every day wide awake, with strong faith, and do what the Lord taught us. When everything around us is shaking, that faith and patience will be our shield and our light to walk safely on the road He gave each of us. Don't let the chaos blind you. Don't let power or temptation lead you astray. Remember, every trial is a chance to prove our faith, and every danger is a reminder. The Lord is the only rock we can truly lean on. Every warning, every event we see around us is a message from Him. Stay awake, be careful, and walk in his light. Those who listen, who recognize the signs, will stand strong when the storm hits and won't lose their way on the path God has ready for them. Be patient, stay alert, and live a life led by the Lord's light, because only then can we see the road clearly, face our trials without fear, and walk steady on the path that belongs to us. November 18, 2025 will go down in history as a day that changed everything. Mankind, whether we meant to or not, has just broken the very last seal. The walls that kept us safe are gone, and the darkness that's been locked away in the deep for so long is starting to slip out into the world. The Antichrist is no longer held back, and the signs of the final great trial are clearer than ever. We're standing right in the middle of the moment all the old prophecies talked about coming true. Nations are in chaos. Power is rising up from places we thought were peaceful, and war, violence, and unfairness are everywhere. It feels like we're being pulled into a game where the ones who stay awake will make it, and the ones who stay asleep will get swept away. This isn't some fairy tale. This is a warning ringing out loud and clear right in front of us. The Bible talked about this a long time ago, and now it doesn't feel far off at all. That is why God is letting them go deeply astray. So they will believe the lie and all be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have taken pleasure in wickedness. 2 Thessalonians 2:11, 1-2. It's a reminder that when the Antichrist shows up, he'll come with a powerful delusion that tricks a lot of folks into following him without even seeing the truth. The signs are all around us already. Wars that never seem to stop, leaders coming and going, bold and surprising decisions, and events that look random but fit together into one big picture. Every political move, every fight, every crisis, it's all a piece on the board that the ultimate dark power is setting up. The Antichrist is going to step onto that stage, ready to use every crack and opening to take over. Just look at the world today. Countries on edge, economies shaking, trust in leaders falling apart. The breakdown in morals and faith isn't happening by accident. It's making room for darkness to fill the emptiness. When people get scared and desperate for answers, the Antichrist will show up looking like a hero, promising peace and order, but really just wanting to chain souls. We don't have time to sit on the fence anymore. Every minute that passes brings us closer to the moment when the Antichrist stands in the open, and everyone has to choose: bow to him or hold fast to the Lord. Anyone still doubting, anyone dragging their feet, is going to face a terrifying deception and consequences that never end. This is the hour when faith, staying alert, and personal resolve decide everything. Look around you. Every country, every city, every person is living through the very trials the prophets described. The battles, the conflicts, the political and economic upheavals, they're all signals. This isn't the time to shrug it off or sit on the fence. This is the time to see the truth and act. We have to stay awake like never before. Keep your eyes open, your mind clear, and your heart turned to the Lord. He's the only solid rock when the storms and darkness come. His teachings, his commandments, and the guidance in the Bible are the compass that keeps us on the right path, so we don't get lost in the lies and tricks of the dark power that's about to appear. Don't let laziness, doubt, or fear cloud your eyes. Every little choice you make today can affect where you spend eternity. Repent, pray, and live the way the Lord taught us. This isn't just a warning. It's the last chance to save your soul before the darkness floods in. We have to face it. The world isn't the same anymore. A time of chaos, war, and brutal power is clearing the way for the Antichrist to come. This is the ultimate test for mankind, where every action and every choice really matters. Those who stay awake and follow the Lord's light will make it through. Those who stay blind and run after darkness will be lost. Please share this message with your family, your friends, and your neighbors. Pray, repent, and live wide awake. Every action, every prayer, every right step makes a difference and can save souls that are wandering. Remember, there isn't much time left. When everything around us is shaking, and the dark power is getting ready to step forward. Only faith in God, staying alert, and living right will protect you. Keep your heart clean, hold your faith steady, and walk in the light He gives. And finally, please help spread the word. Hit like, share this, and subscribe so more folks can wake up, see the truth, and get ready for what's coming. What you do today could be the very thing that saves you and someone else.
Important sites in the Holy Land.
Are deposited for ritual purposes. One of them is a complete object of a ram, אזור שלם, שהיה למעשה אזור שבו התקיים פעילות פולחנית.
And hopefully shared with the public in the very near future.
You know, when the Christian prayer hall was first found beneath the prison,
Right in November 2025, when the world was still reeling from wars, crises, and bad news piling up every day, a surprise announcement from Israel shocked the archaeology and Christian communities. A stunning find right at Tel Megiddo, Armageddon, the spot the Bible says will host humanity's final battle. In just a few hours, headlines popped up everywhere, on the biggest outlets like IAA and Fox News. Canaanite ritual from 3,300 years ago found at Armageddon. Israel uncovers the oldest known wine press, right at Megiddo. It sounds like regular archaeology news, but anyone who knows the Bible gets it. What's under that dirt might say a lot more than meets the eye. Because Jesus warned in Matthew 24:33 that when the signs all show up at once, the Son of Man is near, right at the door. And now, finding a 5,000-year-old wine press, plus a Canaanite ritual burial site right next to Megiddo, is raising a big question. Could this be a sign that the stage for the last day is all set? If you're curious why these seemingly lifeless artifacts tie straight to the Armageddon battle in Revelation, and why many scholars see this as an unprecedented spiritual signal, stick around to the end, because the deeper you go, the clearer it gets. Now, you and I are going to follow the archaeologists and uncover the secrets they found at Tel Megiddo. The moment the excavator started flipping over the dirt and rocks along Highway 66, nobody expected one of the biggest archaeological finds of the century to be sitting right under those steel tracks. You know, the number 66 isn't just random. It's close to 666, the mark of the beast from Revelation. A mix of shock and chills ran through the team as the first layer of soil came off, and they saw carefully buried pieces of ancient pottery, not trash, but part of a ritual. What stopped everyone in their tracks was a stone wine press more than 5,000 years old, almost perfectly preserved. Can you picture it? From the very first cities in Israel, people were pressing grapes and offering wine in worship. This wasn't just a kitchen tool. It's like a time machine, taking us back to ancient religious ceremonies that God Himself watched. Matthew 24:33 says, "When you see all these things, know that He is near, right at the door." And here we are, staring at a living sign. Right next to it, the team uncovered a Canaanite folk burial from about 3,300 years ago, with a tiny temple model, animal-shaped jars, and pouring vessels for wine, milk, and oil. Some of the jars came all the way from Cyprus, proof the Canaanites had serious religious reach and trade. Everything was laid out neat and orderly, as if these rituals were saved for the exact moment the Bible calls the last days. That's not all. At the same spot, they found traces of an Egyptian army from the late 7th century BC, matching the time King Josiah was killed, 2 Kings 23:29-30. See what's happening? This ground has never been quiet. Foreign powers showed up thousands of years ago, and now history feels like it's circling back in a mysterious way. The archaeologists were stunned. From the official report, shows the continuity of offerings outside the sacred area in the Tel, an expression of local Canaanite folk religion. In plain words, you and I are looking at hard proof of a religious tradition that never died out, hiding for thousands of years, and now popping up at Armageddon. Picture this. One small patch of land holds layer after layer of history, each one a mirror of what Revelation 16:16 says will happen when kings gather under demonic influence. You get it. The winepress, the offering jars, the little temple model aren't just old stuff. They're living warnings that what happened long ago could happen again any day now. As we dig into every artifact, every detail together, you'll see each wine jar, each pottery shard, each Egyptian army footprint isn't random. It's a message, a reminder from the Lord that the day of the Son of Man is very near. If you're wondering why a roadside construction site turned into the center of history and prophecy, keep walking with me. Tel Megiddo still has plenty of secrets we haven't discovered yet. Are you ready to dig with me into the layers of meaning behind these objects and ruins that history left on purpose for humanity? The moment you spot that ancient stone winepress, you'll see it's not just a regular tool for making wine. It was the heart of worship rituals from over 5,000 years ago, where wine turned into a symbol of power and offering. In Revelation 17:4 and 18:3, wine is called the cup of Babylon the Great's filthy passions. And now this winepress shows that using wine in religious rites isn't new. It goes back to ancient times, reminding us of the shadows of a worldwide religion in the end times. The ritual pouring vessels found at Megiddo make the mystery even deeper. This is something God banned in the Old Testament. Deuteronomy 32-38, Isaiah 65-11. They offer sacrifices to gods they don't know. Every vessel, every ink mark or oil stain left behind seems to tell us these rituals were kept on purpose, not by chance, and they're waiting for the right time to come back. One special thing is the folk worship happening right outside the city. The Canaanites couldn't enter the real temple, but they still did their rites, like secret devil worshippers on the edges of power. You can spot the shadow of Revelation 13 right away, when the whole world will soon worship the beast, but many won't notice. These artifacts are like an archaeological copy of the end times global religion system, warning us that evil spirit rituals never really went away. They've always been lurking in the background. We can't overlook the small clay temple model with its strange animal shape, standing for the evil idols that Revelation 13, 14, 15 warns about. Every detail, every pottery shard, mirrors the image of demonic forces about to show up, as if the devil set this stage thousands of years ago for the end times. What amazes us even more is how neatly these artifacts were buried. They weren't thrown away. They were stored carefully, like waiting to be used again. This isn't just archaeology. It's living spiritual proof. Ancient rituals are quietly waiting to come true, much like today's New Age movements trying to bring back old rites. When you look at it all together, the winepress, pouring vessels, temple model, orderly burial site, you'll see a clear message. This land never lost its pagan worship nature. It's getting ready to be the stage the Bible describes, where evil spirit forces will gather. Revelation 16:16 reminds us. They lead the kings of the whole world to the place called Armageddon. And now, archaeological proof shows that preparation has been quietly going on for over 3,000 years. And when we connect it to Matthew 24-15, when you see the abomination that causes horror standing in the holy place, everything becomes clear. The finds at Tel Megiddo aren't just archaeology. They're a direct Bible warning, showing that what's coming is quietly gathering right in front of us. With every artifact, every detail, you start to understand that Tel Megiddo isn't just a historical site. It's a hidden map to the last day, a bridge between the past and prophecy, between archaeology and spiritual wake-up call. And as you dig deeper, the story opens up more layers of mystery, with each detail holding a message for us about the end times coming soon. And the Lord is right at the door, waiting for us to see it. So why do these tiny, seemingly lifeless artifacts leave archaeologists and Christian believers in awe? Are they really signs of Jesus Christ's return? And do they hide a close link to ancient prophecies? Let's explore together how what the Bible predicted about the day of the Lord's return is slowly appearing right in front of us. Right now, you'll see why the artifacts dug up at Tel Megiddo are not just archaeology, but a direct warning from the Bible. We are facing the sign that Revelation prophesied thousands of years ago, where evil spirits are quietly gathering to prepare for the final day. Revelation 13:16 describes 3 evil spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the beast, the false prophet, and the dragon. They lead the kings of the world to gather at the place called Armageddon. The discovery of Canaanite folk rituals right outside the city of Megiddo is archaeological proof that those evil spirits have never left this land. The ancient wine presses, ritual pouring vessels, and small temple models are not just objects, but living traces of demonic forces, always setting the stage for the end times. Joel 3:2, 9:14 says, "I will gather all nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Near there is Megiddo." When you read this, you'll realize Tel Megiddo is no accident as the current dig site. It sits right at the center of the prophecy's prediction, where nations and kingdoms will gather in times of chaos, leading to the final, decisive battle. Matthew 24:15 also warns, "When you see the abomination that causes desolation standing in the holy place." And amazingly, the pagan ritual found at Megiddo is part of making that warning real. Those ancient ceremonies, carefully buried, are now showing up among us, reminding us that the final signs have started to appear. You might wonder, why does God allow this discovery to happen right in 2025? The answer is, like how he guided the Dead Sea Scrolls found in 1947, to wake up the church at just the right time, before the big events coming soon, reminding us that history and prophecy always go hand in hand. Those seemingly small details, wine presses, ritual vessels, clay models, are a roadmap to the day of the Lord's return, making us realize the end times are not far off anymore. Looking at the big picture, all the artifacts and the dig site form a mysterious picture. Tel Megiddo is where evil spirits existed thousands of years ago, and now they are preparing to gather again. These archaeological details prove that Armageddon is ready, and Bible events are slowly becoming real right before our eyes. This also stresses an important message. We cannot just see Tel Megiddo as a historical site. Every winepress, every ritual vessel, every temple model is a wake-up signal, reminding us that the church must stay alert, watch, and prepare spiritually, because what the prophecies predicted is becoming real. When you connect it all, Revelation 16, Joel 3, Matthew 24, you see that archaeology, history, and prophecy are meeting at one single point. The Canaanite artifacts at Tel Megiddo are living proof that the evil spirits have never left the world stage, and we are standing before the final day that is closer than ever. Tel Megiddo is not just a place that holds the past, but a warning for the present and future, where every detail reveals the preparation of evil forces, and at the same time a strong reminder for us to stay awake and ready to welcome Jesus Christ before the door of the final time closes. He will come, save those who are chosen. Those are the ones who have already held ready the lamp of oil awake, still shining in hand, leaving behind the chaos of humanity. When we see archaeological signs and prophecies lining up together, the next question is, what events has Tel Megiddo witnessed in the past? This place has a history stretching back thousands of years, full of bloody battles and endless struggles between kingdoms. Understanding the history of Armageddon helps us see clearer why this land became the center of all end-time prophecies. And now, you and I, let's travel back together to the glorious days of this land, okay? You ready? Armageddon. Just hearing the name makes you think of humanity's final battle. The spot, Revelation 16:16 mentions, and they gathered the kings at the place called Armageddon. Actually, the name comes from Har Megiddo, meaning hill of Megiddo, a small hill, but the focal point of countless wars over thousands of years. It's no accident that the book of Revelation picked this spot as the ultimate symbol of the clash between good and evil. Way back in ancient Egypt, Megiddo was already a key battlefield. Egyptian kings stationed troops here to control the vital trade route linking Egypt and Mesopotamia. Even in Deborah's time, the prophetess and leader of Israel, Megiddo saw a glorious victory in the Battle of the Valley of Esdraelon. As recorded in Judges 5:19, they fled before the enemy, the wicked ones cut down like grass. That bloody history acts like a mirror, showing Megiddo has always been a place of trials and destiny. King Josiah of Judah, in 609 BC, met his tragic end at Megiddo while fighting the Egyptians. Archaeologists just confirmed traces of Egyptian forces from the late 7th century BC right here, proving this isn't just legend but real history, recording a sorrowful event. Megiddo, where kings met their deaths, became a symbol for the repeating scripts of final prophecies. But why would Satan choose Megiddo as the final spot? Its strategic location, sitting between major routes, combined with its bloody war history and ancient centers for worshipping foreign gods, makes it the perfect stage for the last battle. This isn't just a physical place, but a spiritual symbol, where good and evil, right and wrong, come together in a fateful showdown. Compared to Solomon's temple, destroyed and rebuilt many times, Megiddo has been preserved through civilizations. The ancients didn't want to lose this place's symbolic power. The layers of earth, the ruins left behind as God planned, so that at the exact end time, the Armageddon stage is ready to replay the prophecy script. Every brick, every ruin at Megiddo tells a story of power, war, and faith. Standing on the hilltop, you can picture thousands of soldiers from long ago, from Egypt to ancient Israel, walking these same stone paths. And right here, according to Revelation, the kings of the world will gather once more, led by higher powers, for humanity's final battle. Notice that Megiddo has never lost its role. Recent digs of Canaanite folk rituals, along with a 5,000-year-old wine press, prove this land has been used for worship non-stop, from the first cities right up to today. These details are archaeological proof that the prophecy about Armageddon isn't just symbolic, but based on reality, preserved for thousands of years. Megiddo is where the past and future meet. From ancient kingdom battles, Josiah's tragedy, to unearthed old folk rituals. It all points to one message. The Armageddon stage is set, and we're seeing the final signs before the Lord's return. History and archaeology together tell the story the Bible prophesied, making you and me stop, watch, and wonder. Is that day, the one Revelation describes, getting close? But history doesn't just stay in the past. Megiddo is like a mirror showing the power shifts happening right in front of us. When we look around the world today, the conflicts, alliances, and political tensions seem to be coming together, reminding us that the prophecy about Armageddon isn't just a story in a book anymore. First sign: Israel facing diplomatic isolation like never before. Right now, Israel is going through a deep diplomatic isolation that's never happened before. Prime Minister Netanyahu has admitted the growing international pressure when he suggested pouring money into influence campaigns in the media to fight back against the global shunning. At the United Nations, Israel got slammed hard during Netanyahu's speech at the General Assembly, amid a wave of criticism over its military operations and tensions with Iran. The Russia-China alliance also issued a strong warning, accusing Israel's military actions of breaking international law. This situation brings to mind the Bible's prophecy about the surrounding of the nations against Israel in the last days. In Isaiah 49:25, the Lord says he will gather the nations again, bringing back the adversaries from everywhere, as if the isolation isn't the end, but the start of a bigger mission that's been prophesied. If you think the world's political situation right now is just a temporary crisis, remember, history and prophecy are coming together, and Megiddo, the place where ancient artifacts have been dug up, might play a big role in the big picture the Bible painted long ago. At the same time, Middle East conflict heats up, Russia, Iran, and Turkey alliance takes shape. A bigger piece of the puzzle is starting to show. The Middle East is sinking deeper into rising tensions, and a striking alliance between Russia, Iran, and Turkey is coming together. According to VOV, the foreign ministers of Russia and Turkey just spoke out, calling for an end to the fighting between Israel and Iran, showing a tighter strategic bond in the region. At the same time, Russia and Iran are putting into action a very broad, comprehensive strategic partnership treaty that goes into effect in 2025, aimed at teaming up to handle common challenges in security and politics. This news has a lot of folks on high alert because it brings to mind the prophecy in Ezekiel 38 and 39, when Eastern nations like Russia, Iran, and Muslim countries will join forces to surround Israel in the last days. You can almost feel it, like a big plot unfolding, not just political strategy, but the opening act for the Bible's end-time script. We can't ignore it. These strategic teamwork efforts between Russia, Iran, and Turkey could well be prophetic signs slowly coming true, stepping us closer to the Battle of Armageddon that the Bible warned about. It's not just about political fights. Humanity is slowly being manipulated and controlled by recognition technologies, AI, chips, CBDC. Now, to a side few people expect, digital tech is turning into the modern mark of the beast. Governments and central banks around the world are pushing hard on CBDC, digital money, mixing in digital ID, AI, and biometrics as a key part of the payment system. For example, the European Central Bank, ECB, has put money into AI to check digital transaction data, stop fraud, and spot odd behavior. And meanwhile, digital ID verification is rolling out everywhere, using chips or face recognition to handle every financial deal. All this echoes the prophecy in Revelation 13, talking about the mark of the beast, a power system that marks everyone to buy or sell. When biometric tech teams up with digital currency, we seem closer to a world where the mark of the beast isn't just a symbol, but a real digital thing that can identify and control everyone globally. Do you feel the chill in this? We're living in an age where technology could become the ultimate tool of power, and Christian prophecy isn't some far-off story anymore. At the same time, in many places around the world, a movement to bring back ancient rituals suddenly bursts out. All over the West, old rituals are coming back through the Druid, New Age, and goddess worship movements, like evil spirits, are working hard to set up a spiritual stage for the end times. Across the United Kingdom, modern Druid groups, like the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, are growing fast, holding outdoor spring festivals every year to honor nature and sacred femininity. At the same time, the Druid Church, ADF, led by a young archdruid, is using digital tech to spread its reach, mixing ancient traditions with the digital generation. Even researchers note the neo-pagan movement is trying to restore ancestor ceremonies, from Celtic myths to ancient Roman ones, rebuilding long-forgotten old rituals to reconnect with those supernatural powers from the past. This rise isn't just a standalone spiritual thing. It might be part of that demonic script the Bible warned about. In Revelation 13, the world will soon honor the image of the beast, and people will worship evil spirit powers. Do you feel it yet? These ancient rituals seem to be coming back not just to remember the past, but to get ready for an ultimate future, part of the prophetic picture we can't ignore. Final signs: record-breaking disasters, wars, and rampant diseases. Right now, the whole world seems to be hit by a storm of disasters like never before, from record heat waves and huge floods to strong earthquakes and deadly tornadoes. A United Nations report says more than 150 extreme disasters happened in 2024, more than any year before. Just in 2025, many places are still suffering the effects, like the historic floods in the United States. or the strong earthquake of 7.7 to 7.9 on the Richter scale. All this echoes Jesus' warning in Matthew 24 to 7:8. There will be wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. These disasters are piling up, one after another, like signs that the birth pains are getting close, and we can't take it lightly. Do you see the clear connection? Nature is shouting with thunder, like a message from the Bible that the end times might be right here with us. And the Lord is coming back to humanity step by step. Are you ready to meet Him again? We've walked together through a mysterious journey, from the layers of earth at Tel Megiddo to the echoing words of the Bible, from a 5,000-year-old wine press to 3,300-year-old Canaanite rituals, from archaeological signs to links with end-time prophecy. The discovery at Armageddon isn't just some fun dig. It's the final wake-up call for humanity. When the excavator flips over soil holding ancient demonic rituals, when archaeologists find pouring vessels, temple models, traces of Egyptian wars, all of it like a message from God. Remember His words. Stay awake. In Matthew 24, 42 to 44, Jesus says, "Stay awake, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour you don't expect." That's not something to hear and forget. It's a deep warning that the end time isn't far off anymore. Every artifact, every ritual uncovered, proves evil spirits are still at work, and now they're signaling a chain of final events about to happen. Look back at everything you and I have seen together. Those ancient wine presses, like traces of early wine worship rituals. Those pouring vessels showing acts God once forbade, Deuteronomy 32:38. Isaiah 65:11. Still quietly lurking in the Megiddo soil. The land of Megiddo, a place of repeated battles, where kingdoms clashed, where souls and evil powers quietly prepared. Now we see a chain of end-time signs. Israel isolated, a Russia, Iran, Turkey alliance forming, mark of the beast technology here, pagan rituals reviving. All of it isn't separate anymore. It's like a puzzle coming together piece by piece, and the final picture is starting to show. You might ask yourself, am I really in the right time? I believe the answer is yes, because God doesn't scare you to frighten you. He does it so you'll get ready. He doesn't come to take away, but to save, for those who are prepared. So what we do right now is wake up, take a good look at our lives. If you haven't repented, haven't accepted Jesus, do it now. If you're living normally, not thinking about the end, stop, think it over, and pay attention to every sign. Live holy, put your trust in Him, spread the gospel, and share His love. You don't have to wait for a safe day, because that day could come out of nowhere. God says clearly, the Son of Man will come at an hour you don't think. So don't let yourself get caught sleeping, left behind. Armageddon isn't some far-off future anymore. The excavator has touched the layer holding 3,300-year-old demonic rituals. God is showing us that day is right at the door. We're not just watchers of history. We're part of it. We don't know the exact hour the Lord will return, but we know this: that day is closer than ever. So stay awake, stand firm in faith, and prepare a humble heart to welcome Him. When He comes, He won't say, "I was late." He'll say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You stood strong." Let your life be the answer to that call. A life awake, a heart that waits, a witness for Him. Let every action, every prayer, prove you're ready when He returns. This is the moment when you and I look history in the eye, see our responsibility and power. No more time to hesitate, no room for indifference. Prepare your heart, so when the Son of Man comes, we can stand firm, at peace, full of faith. The final moment is drawing near. Every excavated artifact, every archaeological trace, every world event, they're all painting the prophetic picture. And we, the awake ones, have the duty to see that picture, understand His message, and act today. Spread this message. Share the truth with friends, family, community. Live a full, holy life, ready for the day the Lord returns. We're not passive watchers anymore. We're the forerunners, called to spread light in dark times. Remember, Armageddon isn't a distant scene. It's getting closer every day, every hour. Each of us has to decide, will you stand in darkness or step into His light? Make that decision today, right now. If these words touch your heart, act now. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel to spread this message to more people. We can be the first to spot the signs and help others wake up.
The location they found the ancient Assyrian inscription was right under
from the city of David.
And here we actually have a direct letter signed with the seal of the king of Assyria discovered.
Suddenly, I see this piece of pottery, and at first it looked like it had a special decoration on it.
The Assyrian cuneiform tablet fragment from the Iron Age tells us a story about a delay in paying tribute.
At the end of the channel, right here, just behind these stones, that inscription was discovered.
Did you know that under the dust of time in Jerusalem, a tiny piece of pottery, just an inch long, has just been dug up, but it's big enough to shake up both archaeologists and believers? Because it is the first Assyrian inscription ever found in this holy city. A faint mark, but it carries a message from over 2,700 years ago. And strangely, it seems to match the picture the Bible paints of those tense moments between Assyria and God's people. Is this the puzzle piece history hid until now? What makes this find special isn't just its age, but where it was, right near the Western Wall, next to the Temple Mount, the place many prophecies say will be center stage in the last days. Scholars think the shard might be part of a royal seal, carrying orders about duties or taxes sent to Judah's kings like Hezekiah or Manasseh. Those wedge-shaped Akkadian letters, dry as they seem, open a big question. Could this be proof of the events in 2 Kings, when Assyria closed in on Jerusalem and God's people stood on the edge of rescue? For many believers, what's even more chilling is the timing. Right when the world is full of upheaval, people are anxious, and end-time signs keep coming up. In Matthew 24, Jesus said that in the last days, nation will rise against nation, and there will be signs. Could an Assyrian message suddenly rising from Jerusalem's soil after more than 2,000 years be one of those signs? Is God once again reminding humanity to look back at its own history, to get ready for what's coming? These questions are just the start. And as we dig deeper into the archaeological context, the excavation process, and every letter carved on that shard, you'll see why so many believe this isn't just an artifact, but a reminder from the divine. Come with me as we follow this trail. Step down through the layers of history, and who knows, we might be touching something the Bible foretold long ago. So don't forget to watch to the end of the video so you don't miss a single interesting detail, because the deeper we go, the more the Bible words come true in ways that are hard to believe and will leave you surprised. And to kick off our journey, you and I will explore together how scientists dug up an ancient message that had been hidden for thousands of years. In 2023, a surprising archaeological find happened at Sorim Valley National Park in East Jerusalem. Archaeologists were carefully sifting through dirt from piles of ruins near the Western Wall, an area that was once the heart of ancient Jerusalem. While working, Moria Cohen, a passionate archaeologist, accidentally spotted a tiny pottery shard, only about an inch long, but carrying huge historical value. At first, she thought it was just a regular decorative piece, but on closer look, she saw the markings were in Akkadian, an ancient script from Assyria. Cohen's feeling at that moment was beyond words. "I yelled with excitement," she shared. "The sense that I was the first person to touch this shard in 2,700 years was truly moving." This pottery shard isn't just a lifeless bit of clay. It's living proof of the complicated ties between 2 powerful ancient kingdoms, Assyria and Judah. Experts believe it might be part of a royal bulla, a seal used to send administrative messages, maybe about taxes or duties. The writing on the shard opens a new door for studying relations between Assyria and Judah, helping us better understand the political tensions and power struggles between these kingdoms back then. The shard was dug up from a soil layer tied to the Assyrian rule over the Near East, from the 9th to 7th centuries BC. Assyria, with its capital Nineveh, was a mighty empire that conquered and influenced many lands, including Israel and Judah. This is part of a complex historical story that this little shard keeps telling. It was found west of the Temple Mount, possibly an administrative center for Assyrian officials in Jerusalem. According to excavation director Ayala Silberstein, the discovery not only proves Assyria's presence in Jerusalem, but also sheds light on administrative exchanges between the Assyrian Empire and the Kingdom of Judah, enriching our knowledge of Assyria's political ties to this ancient city. This find reminds me of events recorded in the Book of 2 Kings. Specifically, 2 Kings 18:13 says, "In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them." This describes King Sennacherib's invasion of Judah, attacking and taking its strongholds, which matches the historical setting the shard represents. Both the shard and the Bible records paint a vivid picture of political tensions, power struggles between two mighty empires, and Judah's survival during this period. The Bible always portrays Assyria as an invading force, a tool God used to punish Israel. This shard not only confirms Assyria's presence in Jerusalem, but also raises big questions about the role of empires in God's plan. Could this be part of the vengeance from Assyria that the Bible foretold, or divine intervention to protect Judah in a time of trial? This small shard, though just a fragment of the past, has special power. It's not only evidence of a historical era, but also a bridge that hints at mysteries the Bible and history still hold secret. We've seen that history is never just dry facts. It's full of deeper stories, divine connections, and events that can change how we view the world around us. When this shard was uncovered, it not only sparked curiosity about the past, but also opened wide space for further research on the links between the Bible and history, helping us grasp more deeply the overlap between these two worlds. After finding this pottery shard, the experts got to work decoding the ancient symbols, and the results were a real surprise. Can you believe it? These tiny wedge-shaped marks don't just hold some administrative note. They open a door to a tangled relationship between Assyria and Judah, showing how divine power stepped into the flow of history. With help from experts at the Israel Antiquities Authority (IAA), the symbols were decoded. They confirm it's part of an official message, probably about taxes or government orders. What stands out is a deadline, the first day of the month of Av, which might tie to a big event in the history of Assyria and Judah. The writing also mentions a chariot officer, likely a high-ranking Assyrian military man, hinting the message was about collecting taxes or duties from vassal kingdoms, especially Judah. The shard doesn't name a specific king of Judah, but based on the time period and historical context, experts think the message was likely sent to King Hezekiah, Manasseh, or Josiah. During those years, Judah was a vassal state under Assyrian rule, and its kings had to follow orders from the Assyrian kings. This little message is rare proof of official contact between the two courts, a key find for understanding the ties between Assyria and Judah back then. Digging deeper, the symbols aren't just writing. They carry meaning, reflecting Assyria's complex government system. They might point to a delay in duties, causing tension, technical or political. This highlights Assyria's power, using writing to control its vassal states. When the experts look at the shard's surface, the wedge symbols stand out clearly on the fired clay. Each mark has a set length and shape, showing the care and patience of the scribes who carved them. The symbols are dark, colored by time and the fired clay, making them a lasting part of history. Those lines, even after thousands of years, stay sharp and clear, letting us feel how important the recorded words were. The shard's color, typical brown and red of fired clay, creates a strong contrast with the black, sharp wedge marks. The carvings aren't just letters, they're symbols of power, of administrative and political control in a mighty empire. The feeling the shard gives is the toughness and lasting strength of Assyria, an empire that lived for thousands of years and now keeps telling its story through these marks. This pottery shard isn't just an archaeological find. It connects straight to events in the Bible. The Bible stories about Assyria don't just describe invasions and wars. They also talk about God stepping into history. In 2 Kings 18:13, we read, "In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them." The Bible seems to describe a real event, the invasion of Judah by Sennacherib, one of the biggest moments in the history of the two nations. This shard doesn't mention that event directly, but it's physical proof of Assyria's presence in Judah, confirming the link between Assyria and its vassal kingdoms. Also, Isaiah 10:5-6 gives a deep look at Assyria's role in God's plan. "Woe to the Assyrian, the rod of my anger, in whose hand is the club of my wrath. I send him against a godless nation." So Assyria was a tool in God's hand to carry out judgment on Israel. This shard can be seen as part of that intervention, where Assyria wasn't just a military power, but a means to fulfill God's will. Even as a tool, Assyria faced judgment for its pride, as shown in the Bible's warnings. By decoding the symbols on the shard, we don't just uncover a piece of Assyrian history. We see the deep connection between historical events and biblical prophecy. This shard opens a new door, taking us back to key moments in history and helping us better understand the relationship between the kingdoms of Assyria and Judah, as well as God's role in guiding history. From the sharp lines to the reddish-brown fired clay, every mark holds a story of power, control, and the tensions between ancient kingdoms. From the outside look, we already know the shape, the material, and the color. Now, let's dig deeper to unlock the real message it carries, where secrets lie that could shake history itself. Starting with the signs on the pottery shard, experts soon saw this wasn't just some old admin record. Each Akkadian letter carved in seems to carry its own beat, a message sent from the Assyrian court, laying down strict rules that the kingdom of Judah had to follow. This info doesn't just note deadlines and duties, it shows the clever control of a mighty empire, where every detail was thought out to keep power in place. The writing mentions a key deadline, the first day of the month of Av, and names an officer in charge, pointing to a tight bureaucracy. Every letter isn't just words, they carry the weight of authority and demand obedience. Scholars say this shard is physical proof of a vassal relationship, where Judah had to balance submission with the wish to stay independent, and any delay or mistake could bring serious trouble. The message on the shard highlights a point of tension. Assyria used official writing to control vassal kingdoms, showing its force from the top down, creating pressure. Looking at this detail, we can picture the lives of Judah's officials, always handling these tricky admin demands, making sure to stay loyal while keeping internal security and order. These small pieces, seemingly tiny, reveal a political picture full of tension and pressure. What stands out is that this message isn't just dry paperwork. It reflects Assyria's power strategy, showing how an empire used writing to direct, watch, and if needed, threaten vassal kingdoms. It seems every letter was calculated, both recording specific duties and reminding Judah of its power limits. Through this, we see another side of history. Power isn't just armies or fortresses, but also in how documents and messages work. Linking to the Bible, this message brings up familiar warnings and reminders. In 2 Kings 19:35, the story of Sennacherib and Judah says, "That night, the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians." End quote. Though the shard records an admin fact, the Bible gives a divine view, showing that any oppression from Assyria was under God's watch and intervention. This link opens a new layer of meaning. The admin text isn't just a control tool, but part of a bigger story of power and divine protection. What surprises people is how such a small shard carries huge historical weight. Just a few letters, yet they open a door to the world of bureaucracy and politics nearly 3,000 years ago. Looking at them, we almost feel the pulse of the courts, the strain Judah faced, and how God shaped history through what seem like ordinary tools. This is the power of archaeology. From tiny details, great secrets come out. Every bit of info on the shards stresses the finesse of Assyrian power, setting deadlines, naming officials, and ensuring the message was followed wasn't just admin work, but how the empire created pressure, tested loyalty, and kept the region stable. For Judah, each message was a reminder that outside power was always there, and every action had to be weighed carefully.